Welcome back to the show, everybody. We got a lot to talk about today. Not only has the market been on the move, but there's that larger question that everyone always asks in the space. When moon? Well, let's roll the beautiful intro and let's talk about it.
This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at @BackupBradley above at the top of the screen and everything that we're talking about here today. Let's go ahead and get into this thing. Lots for us to go over today. I don't know if anybody has seen it, but Susie Trader, who is formerly Esoteric Trading Solutions, has done over the last couple years some amazing valuations, and I've invited her to come onto this show, and I'm waiting for a response. Hopefully I do hear from her. But she is now, and she is formerly from the finance background, and I believe has even worked at a central bank in Australia where she lives or has lived. And I know that she has incredible insight on these things, and she is calling and made a valuation of just over $1,000 per XRP at this point. Her valuations are very insightful. I encourage all of you to take a look at that. Let's go ahead and get into this because it's really like trying to figure out this market action is just amazing to see. It's so exciting. But I will remind everybody, I don't know about you, but I am here for 4 and 5 digit XRP. Because I know what I hold. So I'm excited to see this stuff, but I'm even more excited to know when moon. So let's look and see if we can't find some fundamentals in this information today and let us get a clearer sign, at least of when that may be. So Michael Val, 5 links, thank you to you and Jesus Tejero and XRP Crypto Wolf and everybody else out there who sends information. Appreciate you, each and every one of you. DJ Peter Vass. Bitcoin has reached its escape velocity, claims Pantera Capital executive Dan Moorhead. In fact, many like Nick Carter have gone out of their way to stress that the contrary to the bull run back in 2017. Listen to this. The present rally is much more sustainable. That's right. That's absolutely right, because we didn't have the PayPals and the Squares and the Cash Apps offering cryptocurrencies. Oh, this is going to be much different than 2017 where we're going. Now, DJ Peter Vass gave us this morning. Morgan Creek CEO Mark Yusko saying Bitcoin doing extremely well due to Fed Reserve's dollar devaluation? Really? Oh, do tell, Mark. Well, when I go into this, it's just really a few comments here. He says that with the Federal Reserve and the rise of zombie companies is promoting investors scramble to hedge against inflation using Bitcoin and gold, which is absolutely true. You can see that happening in the market. Yusko took aim at zombie companies, those that need bailouts at times of financial stress to stay in operation, calling them a Ponzi finance scheme, and saying their inability to repay debt, default, restructure meant only choice left for Federal Reserve and other authorities is to devalue currency. Well, and this really does come down to being able to pay the debt back. And if they don't get inflation in place or a debasement of the currency, it's going to be very hard for the U.S. to pay down the debt. And he says that's exactly what the U.S. central bank has been doing alongside the central banks of Europe and Japan. They're going to continue to do that, he said. And when we look at the dollar index, we do see that the dollar index has been coming down. Now, you see a little pump back up here on the dollar index. But if I go to the 1 month here, and look at this chart, how we've come down here. So when you see that little 1 day where it shows it bumping back up, it's really down overall if we look back over just a month, right? So, Cryptopolis, shout out to Cryptopolis. And I know we haven't been able to do the Friday shows on the regular here, guys, and I do apologize for that. It's just a lot going on in our everyday lives, and it's very difficult to line up, but I miss doing those shows with him greatly. But we'll get back to it. But looking at this, Cryptopolis had told us all that, there's a huge correlation between the dollar index and the crypto market. And I think we're seeing some of that play out here. And I don't think we're done with this dollar debasement issue. If you remember, I covered a few months ago, the IMF said the same exact thing that Mark Yusko's saying. And they had a huge conference about it with Geeta Gopinath and Barry Eichengreen and many others that were part of that IMF discussion. And they were very serious about making a external adjustment to dominant currencies like the US dollar. Stay tuned on that, because that's going to send crypto into the stratosphere. If you're looking for when moon, that is a huge player in this equation. Warning from DJ Peter Vass: physical cash will be mostly gone by the end of the decade. Whoa! By 2030, CBDCs are being sold to the public as a tech upgrade to make payments and transfers faster and free of transaction cost. That's going to be the huge upside here, and you can tell that's where we're going. We all know it, and we all know it's coming. Again, talk about these debasement and devaluings of the currencies themselves, and then switching everybody over as a matter of convenience. When you can show the masses the convenience, and it's just practical and it just makes sense, they're going to fall into it like it's nothing. I mean, they will absolutely run to that as hard as they can, because it comes down to the, it just makes sense. I could just show my phone and then it's done. There may be that little early learning curve that we're in now, but that won't last long, because once the corporations and companies shift to that, individuals and citizens will have no choice but to make the adjustment, and they will. And before you know it, it's the way it'll be. XRP sees parabolic explosion overnight as analysts eye further upside. Guys are calling, some people are calling $4. Some people are calling 60-some cent to 80-some cent range for the next breath of air. We do know that XRP has taken a short breath overnight. We did touch 49 cents and then pull back here. I know when I first looked at things this morning, we were up 63.43% on the 7-day. I'm going to say that again. We were up 63.43% this morning when I looked at the numbers on the 7-day. Now, you tell me. That is pretty amazing returns right there. I wait all year for a 63% gain at the end of the year, because I know I can't put my money anywhere else and get that return. You damn right I will. That dog will hunt all day. Looking right here from Michael Val 5 links, with that mind-numbing move, the Ripple-affiliated cryptocurrency took out its previous 2020 high of 34 cents at a stroke. XRP peaked at 49.6, its highest level since 22 of June 2019. On the Bitstamp exchange before erasing some of its gains, which it's doing now. And listen, every market has to breathe. There's a up and then there's a down, right? We do talk about often on this channel a synchronized movement by central banks and other large corporations and entities to move on to the ledger, to synchronize together and to begin to use their digital dollars or products that they have on the XRP ledger, and immediately injecting utility and value onto that network. That is something we can't take off the table, but right now what we're seeing is the market pumping due to institutional buying and actual retail buying because of the things we talked about with PayPal and Cash App and all those things. So let's move on to this, because this is interesting here. Today in payments, Citibank are Citi partners with MasterCard for Google Pay Plex accounts. PayPal boosts Zoom money transfer capabilities. All these things tying together. Okay. Now we know we have the connection with MasterCard and Visa through indirect ties. I think Currency Cloud was one. And there's I know Neum is connected with Visa. The knee bone's connected to the leg bone, either directly or indirectly. We know that Google is a original seed investor in Ripple. So at the end of the day, the article doesn't say Ripple or XRP, but what I do want to show you, because they talk about PayPal's boost Zoom money transfer capabilities and the Google Pay tie, I did want to remind everybody of this clip from a congressional hearing last year, I believe it was, in 2019. And listen to this comment from Mr. Ahmed from PayPal in a congressional hearing about what he could use for small value payments on the back end of PayPal right now if the federal system updated its payment rails.
I would comment on that.
I would just note that, for the kind of core banking architecture, I think there would probably be some changes needed in terms of the Federal Reserve System. But for, smaller valuation or smaller amount payments, I think you already are seeing some blockchain-based systems being created that enable the movement of money. So I think there are examples out there. We talk about XRP or others that kind of...
XRP or others. That's Mr. Ahmed from PayPal. I want to thank him for coming. This has been in the works for a long time. And when I see things like this right here about Citi partners with MasterCard for Google Payplex accounts, PayPal boost money transfer capabilities, all I can think of is all the market infrastructure work that has been going on with Ripple to put these new payment rails and connections in place. And when I think about, the pre-allocation of XRP in the early days in the accelerator program, you can't help but think about the commitment in a contractual agreement that they make that you'll get this much or released to you at a certain time when you do the things you need to upgrade your system and your company to be able to adopt and plug into the new market infrastructure that we say that we're going to build, and they have, and they build it and put it in place. And then at some point they'll get that contractual release of the XRP they've purchased or been allocated, and then off to the races I think we all go. And I don't feel like we're that far off to the races here. And if you look at this, I think it leans into the idea that we're not far from jumping off to the races. If you want to know when moon, well, these are the things you need to see to know when moon might happen. Yeah. Really? London-based think tank says Ripple's XRP remittance platform can minimize intermediaries and boost speed of international payments. Well, you're damn right it can. And they've known it for a long time. England, the Bank of England, has been huge in years past and even currently about talking about the benefits of Ripple specifically and XRP, the virtual currency, when it comes to use of payments. And in fact, the former Bank of England, Mark Carney, the governor there at the time, even suggested that they should use Ripple and XRP as a systemic hegemonic currency to sit between all the digital dollars of the world. Yeah. Now we get more information. London-based think tank says Ripple XRP's remittance platform can minimize intermediaries and boost speed of international payments. Well, you're damn right it can. It's great to hear them say it. Then I want to remind you of this because this is coming from Japan. So now we have two big, huge focuses in the world. Now, in this article, I do want to say to you that it does not say in the article Ripple or XRP, but make no mistake about it, it is on Ripple's website that MUFG is partnered with Ripple. And they talk about a new payments network that's going to be in place in 2021 and about how they can do 100,000 transactions right now and even up to like 10 million transactions a second or something in the future. It's just insane what they're talking about. I just wanted to remind you that we see words coming out of London, action coming out of London, leaning in heavily to Ripple and XRP, and a huge blockchain payment network being birthed here by MUFG out of Japan in 2021. And we know that they're partnered with Ripple. So in some way, I would expect directly or indirectly Ripple and XRP to be direct or connected to this at some point going in the future. Again, if I'm looking for when moon moments, these things are fundamental to me to watch to see if they create a when moon moment. Because as Bob Way said when we interviewed him, formerly of Ripple, here on this channel last year, he told us that you have to have synchronization. And once two banks synchronize their payments using this, it becomes a domino effect because of the savings, the efficiency, and all the scalability that you heard them say in the London think tank. And when you see all of these things, boosting speed and payments and minimizing costs and all of this business, if two banks start using it, the rest have to use it or they're going to begin losing. Over time, that compounds to banks going out of business. That's just the way it is. Then we look at this. Now, this is the one that nobody wants to hear about, but everybody better damn sure know about. Here comes the tax man. All regulations will be coming fast. Thank you to DJ Peter Vass for this one. And this one will close us out. And I tell you right now, this is pretty remarkable, because I read this article, and I'm not going to read it to you because it doesn't tell us anything. But I'll tell you what, it does tell us that the IRS, the only thing it does actually share to us is that the IRS is asking all the questions they need to, because they understand the current structure that they have in place doesn't work. It doesn't work. Changes are going to come. We don't know what they're going to be, but I'll tell you what, I think if they really deem this stuff currency, like any week now, by the way, we're waiting for the official definition in the Federal Reserve and FinCEN here in the States. The official definition of money has had a proposal by those departments to expand and explicitly include virtual currencies as money in that definition of money in those agencies. And that is any week we should be hearing about that coming forward in December. That, I would believe, would begin to change where IRS would end up with their narrative about how they see digital currencies as a whole too. And hopefully we can stop seeing them as property and start seeing them as money. Okay, there you go. I think we got some strong fundamentals about when Moon, and we start seeing banks out of London and banks out of Japan start to use and synchronize with new blockchain payment methods and be involved with Ripple or XRP. We're going to start to see a when Moon moment, which is anything above 3 digits. And I got my eye on it because I'm here for 4 or 5, and I'm not leaving till I get it. Hit the like and subscribe, leave a comment below, and share with somebody you know. Don't forget to check out all the amazing specials and links that I have for you guys in the description box in the comment section. Remember, a lot of scams going on out here. I have somebody impersonating my accounts. You got to be very careful. I will never personally contact you in the comment section. If you see anything from Digital Perspectives telling you about how to make money in my YouTube comments, report it. I've been doing the same thing. We don't want any invalid traffic on our site. We really don't. So, and we want to make sure you guys know that any trusted links or anything that I have provided for you have been vetted by me. I use all those products and services, so they are very safe companies and places that you can go. So I will catch all of you on the next one.